Yeah.
I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won.
Yeah.
I hope my team they won.
Yeah. Man.
I hope my team they won. I hope my team they won.
Yeah.
I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome to 820 inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast. Your show that's covering the sporting HBCU diaspora, all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics, to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, along with my co-host, Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, as well as A.D. Drew, and we're filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to KCOH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer, multi-Hall of Famer that is, Ralph Cooper, in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. With that being said, let's go ahead and bring A.D. Drew on, and Charles, if they're available. If not, we'll kind of move through it. It looks like A.D. Drew is still having to deal with that emergency call he got. So you can keep me on center stage, and we'll wait till Drew is ready to get back in here, and I'll talk with some other information as we get it done. I did want to frame this a little bit in terms of everybody's thought on Alabama State. We talked about that on Tuesday, about them obviously winning the SWAC championship 2026. And they are going to Alabama to compete in the Tuscaloosa Regional. And after winning 2026 SWAC baseball tournament, as you know, the Alabama State University baseball team has earned that berth into the NCAA baseball tournament regional. The NCAA regional in Tuscaloosa features the Hornets that secured the automatic bid following a strong run through the SWAC baseball tournament, highlighted by standout performances from tournament MVP Miguel Orpeza, along with the key contributors Jorhan LeBoy, Fabian Santana, James Peterson, Trey Calloway, and Nigel Jenkins. Alabama State will open regional play against the University of Alabama on Friday. That is May the 29th, this Friday, at 6 o'clock. That is Central Standard Time in Tuscaloosa. The NCAA tournament appearance marks Alabama State's first SWAC tournament since 2022 as they continue the program's postseason tradition on the national stage. I think it's the third overall. The regional format is double elimination, with one team advancing to what we all know as the 16 regional sites into respective NCAA super regionals. So kudos for the Alabama State. I want to talk about, Drew, if you can go to Black College 9. Drew did a really nice breakdown of this regional featuring Alabama State. So if you would, Drew, give us a couple of highlights. You don't tease it all out, because I do want to make sure folks go over there and read it. But give them some some nuggets, if you would, on what they can find in that article.
First, couple things, and we're going to focus on Alabama State because the article kind of took a dive into all four teams that are in the regional. But for the purpose of this podcast, I'm going to first, I'm going to talk about Alabama State. And before I forget my rudest, Dr. Cavil, how are you doing today? I know I was here and I had to step away for a phone call, so I didn't get to properly say hello to you today. So just wanted to get that out the way.
I appreciate that. It was a good day. We found a way to do Son's Day at the office, I guess you would call it. So I had my deputy interim dean with me, Deuce, and he did a good job. Put him to work a little bit. So I guess I'm going to have to come out my pocket and make sure that he's funded appropriate. I don't want to get into any labor laws
like that.
That labor, right?
Appropriate ice cream.
Yeah. Oh, he'd go for that. And he mentioned that this week. So we will probably head up to HEB where he can I can get him a whole gallon for pretty good price. HEB has still been pretty good as much as possible in this environment with groceries. So I appreciate them. So I give them a little love and a little shout out.
There you go. But getting back into the question at hand, Dr. Cavil, let's talk about Alabama State and University of Alabama, who will face off in the first game. They did play twice during the season, Dr. Cavil, and they lost 2-1 to Alabama on February 18th. Very competitive game. That was in Tuscaloosa, and lost 13-4 in Montgomery on March 4th. I believe that game was held at Riverwalk Stadium, not on the campus of Alabama State. Don't quote me on that though. So that's what Alabama State did against the University of Alabama. Common opponents, Alabama. The common opponents between Alabama and Alabama State: Auburn, South Alabama, Troy, and UAB. Alabama State went 1-4 against those teams, while the University of Alabama went 5-3. So what does that mean, everybody? Alabama State can compete. Not only did they compete with them head to head, they competed with the common opponents. Just a couple of things against some other people. But Alabama State did not play Oklahoma State. They did not play Upstate either, but there were some common opponents. Now you're gonna have to go to the article to read and see who those common opponents were and what they did against those. But I do want to bring this thing out, and if I could, are we taking this out for this first segment, Dr. Cavil, or are we going into some other news?
You can go ahead and take it out a little bit. Keep going.
I noted 5 key things that Alabama State has to do to win this regional. And you tell me if you agree with these, Dr. Cavil, and also you people in the chat. Got to cut down on the free base runners. That means walks, hit by pitches, and ease. Number 2, that somebody has to protect or Pazer.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's gonna get the well treatment, which means the free pass.
Right.
So if there's an RBI situation, they're going to pitch around him. So whoever's batting behind him has got to produce. Peterson and Matthews must be available in leverage spots. Obviously, we know what Peterson did in the tournament, throwing, I think, 170 pitches over the 4 days of the tournament. Has his arm recovered? That's a lot of pitches in 1 week in a 4-day time span, or was 4 games in 5 days. So has his arm recovered? Defense, obviously, we got to keep it clean. Dr. Cavil can't afford any 4-out or 5-out innings. And last but not least, be confident. So those are my 5 key points. What do you say of those, Dr. Cavil? And if one of those is the one that you think is the most important one of those 5, let me know what that is also.
Yeah, I like those 5. You know, my biggest thing would be errors. It's going to be tough enough when you talk about Alabama and what they're probably going to throw. I don't know if they'll throw their ace in game 1, but if they
probably not.
Yeah, I don't think they'll necessarily do that. They'll try to believe that they can push through it, but if they do, that's a tough stash in terms of what he does. But I would tell you that while Deuce certainly is broke down what Alabama State had to do to be successful in this game, he says one thing that he kind of has watched out is Justin LeBron. Plays for Alabama, the shortstop. He really talks highly about him, and then I went and looked up his stats. I saw why. That's one of the guys that he focused on in terms of finding a way. He's a table setter. He does a lot. He energizes that team, really talented. He talks about that he will be, first round draft pick, even as a junior this year. So when you got that much talent on the field against Alabama, obviously, to me, one of the things you got to do is not set yourself up. That team is going to be able to get you going. And so you can't waste opportunities on the field in terms of what that looks like. and you just cannot create errors. In the college game, is one of those games where errors really come to punish you. In MLB, you see an error here or there, but it doesn't necessarily beat a team up. Maybe a little bit more in the playoffs when everything is so critical. But in college, also what they do on two outs. Can they finish off the inning when they're on defense? Get that third out, and not give up. Certainly not a big inning, but more importantly, not even giving up, runs after 2 outs. Can you settle that down? And then can you come through? I mean, Alabama is going to get some outs. They're going to get you out. And when they get to 2 out, you got to find a way. If you have runners in scoring positions, how do you make it count? How do you score with those 2 outs? How can you use your speed on the back pass? Obviously, Southern and FAMU were ranked higher in terms of what they did on the base pass, still stealing. But Alabama State has a little talent there. And then they have some big-time hitters. Can they calm themselves down and not be overwhelmed by the environment? They played in some big environments. They've chased and got some big wins throughout the season. So I don't see this team being afraid of the moment. Much like you've seen with Bethune-Cookman, these teams for the most part have been pretty competitive. Now to get the upset, it's going to be tough. But I really look at that second elimination game. That's the one that I'm always focused on, playing against a team that has, 5 times the money and resources you have. I don't see that as something that you look at, and that's why you would call it a true upset. It's not something that you can point out. But where you get your bang in your buck is in that if you do lose that first game, is that loser bracket elimination game. Can you find a way to put yourself in a position to get that victory? And then you play it from there. You see how it goes from there. So that's the game that I look at it a little more in terms of that matchup.
Let me add to that quickly. You mentioned 2 outs, being able to either play defense with 2 outs or get the 2-out RBI. I want to take it before you even get to 2 outs, Dr. Cavil. When you have runners in scoring position and less than 2 outs, are you able to produce? That's also a big difference in the game. And we go right back to this tournament that we just saw. Florida A&M, up until they faced Alabama State, was able to produce with runners with less than 2 outs. Against Alabama State, they could not produce until the late innings when they had runners on the bases halves with less than 2 outs. Also, LeBoy, your number 1 starter for Alabama State.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do what the big boys do? Do you save him from game 2?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And start your Saturday starter on tomorrow, and save LeBoy for an opportunity for a team that realistically you're probably going to be playing
that you can play with them.
Yeah,
and give you sense. I think that's something that you seriously consider. See what you can get done in the first game with your second-day starter. See if he can get hot, if he can get in the zone, or throw somebody that throws a different style. Alabama State has that side and can you get to him? Because he's a little different. I think they'll eventually pick him up, but sometimes he's harder to pick up the first time you see him.
Yeah.
Regardless of
that's Peterson that you're talking about.
Yeah, Peterson. So I think that's something that you look forward to. Can you get your day 2 starter to go a little longer in the game in such a way you can set them up and still be within the game and get to Peterson to see what you can get done and strike lightning in a bottle. But yeah, was shared with me, and I think it was appropriate. Alabama is going to go after the batters, so they're going to pitch to them. So you want to take your chances with it. You want to take that opportunity. You're going to get some pitches. They're going to believe they can blow by you, and so make them pay. Take your time and take advantage of those bats when you get them. I think it's extremely important.
They may go after the batter, but their ball's not coming down the middle, everybody. They're gonna be painting those corners as
Oh,
they
they
coming
gonna
after
move
the
the
bat.
ball. They
Just
gonna
keep,
move
just
that
keep that in
ball.
mind. It's not like they throwing a fat pitch and batting practice
No,
fastballs.
they're gonna move that ball. But I think when I'm saying they're gonna go
Yeah,
after them is they're gonna rely more on their fastball. They'll
yeah,
throw some changes, especially in terms of the count, to try to get you out to finish it off. But as they come straight at you, they're gonna come with that fastball, a little bit of movement on it or whatever. But to your point, while they're coming at you, they're going to be painting the corners. But those are things that you can hit. You can hit those pitches. That's more about timing and seeing it. Even with the 99 type pitches, some batters will tell you they prefer that because they can time it up. It's the guys that have the movement that messes them up and has the ability to paint the corners that makes it challenging. So let's take our first break and come back on the other side. Want to still stay with some news, get some updates. MEAC in terms of the NCAA East Regional, schools that are participating in that, give some updates there. Then the MEAC SWAC Challenge has some news, or at least a tease. I guess there wasn't news yet. There's a tease out there, so maybe we'll play some guessing games, see if some of the lab listeners have some ideas of what news may be released coming out of the MEAC SWAC Challenge. We'll talk about that a little more after this first break.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
So we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131. Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisine.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Fire the DJ.
Yeah. He's playing at the appropriate time. I'm not sure what's going on there. But a lot of people like the song, so maybe that's part of it. North Carolina State will be represented by 2 student athletes this week in NCAA Division I outdoor track and field for 2026. That's the East Region first round. Scheduled for May 27th to the 30th. University of Kentucky outdoor track and field facility is the place to be. Recent graduate Christian Washington of Jacksonville, Florida, and freshman Sonny Gaines of Daytona Beach, Florida, each earned spots in the long jump and will compete against some of the nation's top athletes for a chance to advance in the NCAA. You also have Morgan State Bears, whose women's track and field program will be represented by 2 standouts as well. Jumpers at the 2026 NCAA Division I Outdoor Track and Field Championship, scheduled, as I said, in Kentucky, Lexington. You have sophomore Kiara Stewart and junior Linnea Henderson both earned qualifying spots following outstanding performance during the outdoor season and at the MEAC Outdoor Championship. Howard University Track and Field Program sends 13 AD Bisons to Lexington, Kentucky. They have sophomore Drew Dillard, Silver Spring, Maryland, competes in the high jump. You have also fifth-year Bison Sean Ray from Stafford, Virginia, gears up for the triple jump. You have graduate Marcia Say out of London, United Kingdom, senior Lauren Thompson, Frisco, Texas, and sophomore Lindsay Johnson out of Detroit represent the Bison Nation in the short hurdles, 100 meters. And later that day, also, you have juniors, Janera Lyons out of Hampton, Georgia, Mackenzie Robinson, Ypsilanti, Michigan, prepare for the 100-meter dash, and Tiffany Magumbi out of Houston competes in the 800-meter race. 3 Bisons enter the long hurdles, 400 meters, which is Johnson senior Ania Woodruff out of Harrisburg, North Carolina, sophomore Kania Billups out of Denver, closing out that Bison, if you would, as we talked about Lions, and the freshman Nalia Darden, I should say, Greensboro, North Carolina, are the ones in the race. And I don't want to forget Anyana Gray Williams out of Winston-Salem State for the 4x4 relay. Junior sprinter should be getting it done. I talked about Kellis Armstrong from Plano, Texas. A lot of Texas folks here up there in Howard. Triple jump. 4x4, always exciting race. Billups, Johnson, Turner, and Woodruff finished the weekend as they try to get it done in the races there. So, give you a little updates from the MEAC represented in their Eastern Regional. Shout out to the SWAC individuals that will be participating in their regional here in the Southern region. So it'll be interesting to see what that looks like in that framework. Drew, I saw a little plug out there. I forgot where I seen it, so you might be able to remind me there. But it was talking about the MEAC SWAC Challenge, some news coming. Do you know? Have you seen that information, Drew?
I have seen that information, and I'd be doggone if I just lost it because I had it pulled up on my phone, and just right on cue, I lose it. Let's see if I can pull it up again. For those of you all on social media, this came from John Grant. Once again, let me say this. Let me say it. Make sure everybody understands. This news is being reported from John Grant.
That's the executive director of MEAC SWAC Challenge. Can't get much better than that.
Thank you.
And the cricket celebration mode.
And the Red Lobster Band of the Year.
Band of the Year.
Yes. All right. Quote.
And he's a hard worker.
Yeah, he's a hard worker.
3
All
events.
right. Here we go, Dr. Cavil. Quote. Pleased to let everyone know that there are major announcements coming soon with the Cricket Celebration Bowl, the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge Kickoff, and Red Lobster Band of the Year. Be sure to follow on our social platforms for the upcoming news.
So now we got to play the guessing game. Charles, we got some news. John said there's some news out there.
Okay.
MEAC SWAC Challenge. I should say Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge, Cricket Celebration Bowl, and the Red Lobster Band of the Year. He said all 3 of them have some announcements.
Wow. Okay.
I wonder for the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge, that could be about some updates in terms of teams. This might be around the time they kind of tease out some of those teams that may be announced that you can look forward to over the years down the road. That's something I'd put out there. That might be it. Now, what I'm interested in is the Red Lobster Band of the Year. I'm not sure what that is. You got any guesses that you may say what that may be out there?
Oh, that's
We're not
interesting.
going to let AD Drew play this game because he might know. So
I was curious if it was a time slot change or anything. So I don't know.
huh?
That's a good. I like
That's
that.
a good guess. Friday, but it may switch it around and it may change in terms of it. You also have in terms of the cricket celebration bowl. Now that has me puzzled. Maybe there's some contract news.
Ah, now that's always huge.
That could be big. That would be big. That would be something to sneak out there and celebrate a little bit. So those are the things out there. Lab listeners, won't you opine and tell us your thoughts in terms of what may be the news? What direction do you think Mr. John Grant, the executive director, y'all have seen him on the show a couple of times. Probably
Image is stupid.
I'm surprised that he hadn't made an announcement here. That's the only thing I'll say. He said there's an announcement about it. Yeah, that's what in the business we call it a tease.
That's a good thought.
Every boy has a guess.
Yeah. I like that one.
That's a good one. Sponsorship. That would be big too. News there. With that being said, anything that you wanted to get that has excited you for this week, Charles? We talked about the update in terms of Alabama State and really broke that down in terms of them playing in Tuscaloosa. And then we talked a little bit about the MEAC NCAA Eastern Regionals. Anything that has been on your radar? The last two segments, we're going to break down the ESPN announcement of the games. So we'll go a little bit in there and see your thoughts in terms of matchups that has you excited, and we'll have you pointed towards ESPN. So we'll save that for the last two segments. But outside of that, any news or any talk that has you lathered right now?
I think going into this regional, I think with Alabama State playing in Alabama Regional, it should be fun. We've seen it happen before, where you have a SWAC team that can go in and make a stand, and I think Alabama State has that sort of lineup. They're not going to be intimidated. They got guys one through the top part of that lineup through the meat part of that lineup. They can hit the baseball. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Miguel Orpeza, Trey Calloway, Nigel Jenkins, those guys, what they can do against, what we deem to be sort of an elite pitching. So it'll be, I think, a fun outing, I think, for Alabama State. And if they can jump on a team early. And I don't know, to me, it's always very interesting when you have maybe a pitcher like Johan LeBoy, where it sets up really well, where they keep the off-speed stuff on the corners, make them chase a little bit. Things can get interesting. And I think that was kind of the formula of success last time when Jackson State beat University of Louisiana Lafayette. They had a pitcher he was throwing just stuff. I mean, that was not, good swing and hit stuff. He kept it out there on the corners and
a lot of ground outs.
Yeah, a lot of ground outs.
Out to the opposite field.
And you got to make the plays that are there in front of you. So I think that's the big thing I'll take a look at.
Yeah, those errors, make those plays. I love the way you break it down. Since we're finishing off of that, I want to remind everybody to go check out A.D. Drew's article on Black College Nines, Tuscaloosa Regional Preview, Alabama State Draws, host Alabama in the NCAA Open. And check that out. Great breakdown in terms of what we go there. We'll take our second break. We'll come back on the other side. Now it's talking about the ESPN games and selections. Your thoughts on these selections? Why do you may have there, or at the very least, tell me which games have you lathered up. We'll kind of break it down as we go through the year. Got our early matchups, some talk out there a little bit about the Sunday game. You can give me your thoughts on that. Some folks say they're going to be in church, and other folks said the Lord will understand. So they have already did their prayers. It said, they'll be listening and they'll go.
Bring the wine and crackers to the tailgate.
You're right. We'll see. I think some of those folks I hadn't seen them in church in a long time. I promise you, I've seen some of those folks posted.
Those two timers that you talking about.
I think they just mad because of what they got to do on Saturday night and get up Sunday morning. It's gonna cut into some of their party on Saturday night.
Yeah, you might have to double up on Wednesday prayer meeting. Yeah.
Hey, Doc, you talking about those two timers that come to church? You know what two timers are, right?
Yeah, Easter and
Christmas.
That's it.
That's the two timers.
That's it. We'll take second break and come back on the other side.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids' apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Wait a minute, we waiting on our leader.
I was wondering, I was like, oh.
I think G Boom is having some internet issues. There we go. There's our fearless leader.
Yes, I was just talking away. I didn't even.
You missed your cue, Dr. Cavil.
Yeah, appreciate it. That being said, as the music says, it's coming up on that time on Sundays where you can watch us and we will tell you whether your team won or lost from Saturday and why. I guess you already know if they won or lost because some of y'all will be all on social media that Saturday telling folks your excitement or your frustration of why they
trying to make those miserable Saturdays.
Man, we need to fire him.
Yeah, boy, I tell you. Let's get into this announcement of 2026 SWAC Football TV schedule. I see they're starting to do this early and early. People can make even more plans based on that. A lot of people have made their plans by now, but it is good. So let's break it down. We'll do this over two segments. This segment, we'll do the first one. We'll go through August and September. 4 games in September, 2 in August. We'll do 1 in October. Close out in October, the first game in October as we start to get things really lathered up and going into conference play. And then we'll do the next segment. We'll do the last game in October. Only 2 games on October featured on ESPN. And then we have 4 weeks in November where things you would think start to get good. And then you have your last 2 games in December, which are the big ones. One is for a SWAC crown. And the other one is in Atlanta for the Cricket Celebration Bowl for a national crown in most people's eyes, obviously, for a bowl championship without question. So let's see if we can get into some of this mix here. When we look at this schedule, You got Southern and Alabama State and Alabama A&M and Howard. Both played on the 29th. The big one is on ABC. It's hard to knock that. And the other one's on ESPNU. For a non-conference matchup, two former NFL players, now coaches for their respective team, debuting. New head coach is Southern. Interesting in that game. Obviously, Alabama A&M and Howard. That's the MEAC SWAC matchup between those two teams. Howard comes in with the new coach. Alabama A&M is coming back with their second-year coach. So a lot on the line in terms of that first weekend, if you would, with three coaches coming in terms of two of them debuting and one of them coming back for his second season. The long-standing coach of Alabama State there, if you would, and it would be fascinating in terms of leading the Hornets there, is now becoming a long tooth in terms of head coaches that are around for a while, which is fascinating. Let's go a little deeper into September. We have another MEAC SWAC matchup, if you would. This was on ESPN. Saturday matchup, if you would. South Carolina State, last year's Celebration Bowl champion, national champions against FAMU. New head coach debuting there, boy. ESPN picking up some of these new coaches. Fascinating to see what that looks like. Charles, we'll get your thoughts on where you're going to go with your matchups here. Then we have Texas Southern Prairie View. This is getting a lot of talk out there as this game is actually moved to Sunday at 11 o'clock. People talking about interrupting their church services. Some people are talking about the heat. I had a sweet life, so I don't. They can play whatever, you know. I'm sorry. They're spoiled a little bit with that one.
That was a quick flex.
Yeah, that was on ESPN2. Then they have several that are to be determined, which means depending, I'm sure, on the matchup, may determine where that's going to be featured. So it's interesting that ESPN has gotten to the point where they even flexing some SWAC games in terms of where they want to broadcast them based on how they're doing. Now, this is an early matchup. Could go a long way. Prairie View knows pretty early in their season. And let me take that back a little bit. While they open, obviously, with another game on ESPN, I do want to acknowledge that, which is a non-SWAC game, if you would. But they played Tarleton State, top 25. Some people will say it'd be a top 10, maybe even top 5 FCS program. To the week 0, what we used to now open up on August 29th. That will be on ESPN2 along when you see Prairie View. So Prairie View gets a chance to showcase coming off of a NAP championship appearance in the SWAC championship. So they will be the 100, a little different. Also on September, you get double-double. You get a Southern Jackson, which always stirs up a lot of emotions, particularly with one of our hosts here. And then one of the other guys that are featured on VCSN, he does a show on Saturday named Carlos Brown. So that'd be fascinating. And then you have, as I said, we'll do that first game in October. But we have FAMU and Jackson State. You know, FAMU people are talking about HBCU Go. They got a couple of games here as well on ESPN. So that's going to be it. They're going to get showtime. When you talk about that, I'll go with you, Charles, as we will do these matchups first. What stands out for you that first couple of weeks, that August, September, that first week in October, when things are just getting lathered up, a lot of cross-conference matchups, a couple of early conference games, even a conference matchup that is a non-conference game. Where are you in terms of what has your interest the most early on and why?
I think all these games have a level of intrigue. Definitely when you start talking about Marshall Faulk era opening with Southern. But for me, the one that stands out is the rivalry, Texas Southern and Prairie View. I think that's the one that I think a lot of people got to hold a popcorn for that one, because go back to last season, Texas Southern is but a mere, touchdown stop away from kind of halting the Prairie View, and that Prairie View win. That you could see it then. That was a springboard. That was a springboard for the season. I think there are a couple other games where you saw something more with Prairie View, but that one was where the game where the buy-in was there. So I'm very curious this upcoming season with a lot of the new parts that Texas Southern has coming in, new quarterback and things of that nature. Can they actually get over the hump? That's the one that I'm paying attention to with regards to Prairie View. And then you're talking about Prairie View coming back year 2 with the target on their back, and they are inviting all the smoke. I'm loving it. That's the one. That's the one I'm paying attention to.
Yeah, they are inviting some smoke, and
they
not
want
only in the conference,
smoke,
but out of the conference as well. I will say this: I'll challenge you, Charles. I think there's one thing that you may have got wrong. You said you want your popcorn. I think you're forgetting that this is a Sunday morning game. You have your spirituals going on, so I think you might want to get your breakfast taco.
Yeah, that's probably breakfast taco.
Breakfast taco with some hot sauce. No,
it's Texas. We're doing breakfast tacos.
Man, this is Texas. You might have some brisket on that taco, breakfast taco. That's what they gonna have. It's a hot sauce and barbecue sauce.
Oh, it's Sunday brunch. Oh yeah, it's Houston. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Now that I'm thinking about
it. Yeah, the mimosa's gonna be flowing.
There you go.
All right, AD Drew.
We were gonna be empty that morning. Somebody better tell Pastor Cosby.
hey, just do the 8 o'clock service and be done.
Oh, that's what some people say. They're going up there 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be early morning, sir. Definitely.
You can trust that, and then they going right down on 292.
or do church in the parking lot. Somebody's pastor is gonna have church in the parking lot at the tailgate. I guarantee you, fellas.
That would be smart. That would be really Wheeler, Lily Grove, somebody. Yeah.
Somebody
gonna be smart.
And they gonna ask for money for the building fund while they out there.
There you go. All right, AD, tell me in terms of these first couple of matchups, what stands out to you? What has your interest?
Couple of comments. Yes, I'm supposed to sound like a homer. South Carolina State, Florida A&M. Obviously. Alabama A&M Howard. Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge kickoff. Plus, want to see what Howard has with their new head coach. So that one intrigues me. Second year Sam Shade. But I did want to point something out there, Dr. Cavil, and obviously Southern Jackson State. That's what that's always on somebody's top 5 list of games. But 2 things that I've noticed, and I actually went to the full release by ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, there are probably about a dozen games or so that are not listed on here featuring SWAC teams against non-HBCUs. What you see on here are just the games HBCU on HBCU. And when I looked at that article, Dr. Cavil and Charles, and dug deep into that article, it's what I didn't see that shocked the hell out of me. We read last week about SIAC and CIAA with HBCU goals still trying to shore up that contract. What also I did not see were any SIAC or CIAA games on this ESPN schedule. Makes me wonder, where's the media money for our 2 Division II HBCUs? Because I haven't seen them. They were not on the HBCU Go schedule. Don't see them on the ESPN schedule. Are they going to be self-contained this year?
It's a good question.
I'm just asking this question out loud, everybody.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. Good question. Unless the SWAC and ESPN, HBCU to some degree are just kind of getting ahead of things. As we said, this was released a little earlier.
Yeah.
But they are ESPN and HBCU Go. So they do have the opportunity to list all HBCUs. So that
Exactly.
is the intriguing point that you put out there. Let's
Yeah.
take our last break. We'll come back on the other side and we'll break down the rest of the games and see as things start to tighten up. And certainly, as you know, in the football season, that second half is where it gets or tends to get interesting if nobody runs away with it. We'll talk about that when we get back on the other side.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
And we have to fund our kids in these colleges, and we have to make sure our kids have seats in these colleges.
Now, what about HBCUs? You mentioned.
Absolutely. You got to fund them all, and you got to make sure they're properly funded. You know, the real reason why I went after Comcast and Charter, it didn't have anything to do with my cable networks. It didn't. What happened was a gentleman wanted to do the Black College Sports Network in partnership with the HBCUs. And Comcast did not accept it. And that would have made a lot of money for these black colleges.
Absolutely.
And it would have educated the Black College Sports Network. This is what he wanted to do. That would have educated a lot of black kids. And when they didn't do that, that's when I came off the bench and said, okay, I'm going to light you up like a Christmas tree. Okay. That was the real reason why I got into it, was when I saw what happened with the Black College Sports Network, which I don't own. I just knew.
Why didn't you buy it?
I just knew. I just knew that these black.
I like that talk.
All right. I knew that these black colleges were going to benefit, and these black kids were going to get the education that they deserved and not have to pay.
There's a shot. It might be. It could be. Right field. Grand slam. What a shot. That's how you get hot, young fella.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. And all you guys at BCSN, we really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
When you're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics, there's only one place to go. Tune in to The Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside HBCU Sports Lab.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want to lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside HBCU Sports Lab as we prepare to bring everybody else in. We're going to start looking at these last set of games over that period of time, as we have that last game in October, which is the Magic City Classic. Boy, it should be another good one. It seems to always be a good one. Hornets took care of business last year as they continue to rub it in the nose of Alabama A&M over the last couple of years. Bulldogs want a little payback. We'll see if they can get a bite of the action. Always fascinating when you see these in-state rivalry games. And then you have another game that's been big, and it's meant a lot in terms of these two teams. And as of last year, it came down to determine who won the division, literally on the last play of the game. 2-yard line is where everything fell apart if you're the Hornets. Jackson State and Alabama State. This time Jackson travels to Montgomery. So you're talking about a packed house. If you just have an open weekend on your schedule and you want to see an intense matchup that's going to be two fan bases cheering on the squad's full stadium, this is one you want to get in the mix. Then you turn around, you got another one. That's the in-state rival, Jackson State, Alcorn State. Can the Braves find a way to get with Jackson? Boy, how things have changed. There was a period of time where the Braves just had Jackson State's number, and now Jackson State says not so fast. We're getting back to what we believe is our ways of how we take care of the business with the Braves. Then we get into Prairie View, Alabama State. This, in some ways, determined who had the home field advantage, whether it was Jackson or Prairie View with three teams tied. Prairie View had a chance if they got this game. Also, quarterbacks got hurt in this particular matchup. Body, specifically. This one's on ESPN Plus. And then you have that Florida rivalry game with Florida A&M, Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman, we were there live in terms of Mike and I. We got to see that for the first time. Bucket list, Charles, checked it off. Tremendous ball game, tremendous atmosphere. I will say that as well. That's on ESPN as you see there. Two. Pepsi SWAC Championship game on ESPN. For all the marbles, it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, it goes to the home site of the team that has the best record. It has been since 12-team expansion has been in the Eastern Division. Can the West find a way to move the game over to the West? We'll see. And then everything goes down in Atlanta. Cricket Celebration Bowl. Start with you, AD Drew. Of these matchups, rivalries are involved. You get closing matchups with a lot on the line, expectation of where people finish. You see this television has a lot of that in terms of predicted order for some teams. With that being said, what matchup or matchups grab your eye,
AD? All right, we're going to eliminate the last two just because those two don't need any type of introduction with the SWAC Championship game and the Cricket Celebration Bowl. So we're going to eliminate those two.
That's
Charles, I got to leave you some meat on the bone. So,
there's plenty of games out there.
I went in.
Him all nice. He's a big player.
I'm trying to be nice. Let's go to Florida A&M Jackson State.
Yeah,
that game every year since expansion has been the game that has determined who's the SWAC winner is. Now, yeah, Florida A&M was not quite right last year, but even still, until Jackson State beat Florida A&M last year, Florida A&M was still in the hunt and mathematically could have done something. So that's why I point at that game. That game every year has set the tone for the SWAC East. Which brings me to the second game.
I want it to be a rivalry, but
no, I'm not saying it's a rivalry. That is not what I'm saying, Charles. I'm just saying that game has set the tone for who comes out of the East every year since expansion. The other game has got to be the rematch. Not the rematch, excuse me, let me take that back. It's got to be the game that everybody wanted to see last year with Alabama State and Prairie View A&M.
As the rematch.
That's got to be the game. I mean, that was at that point in time, that was the game of the year until we had a couple other games behind it. But that was the first game of the year last year. So those are the two that I am most looking forward to.
All right. Charles, did he save you some? Or were you going in a different direction, or did you have any of those on your list?
Oh no, he left me plenty. He left me plenty. He said FAMU Jackson State. I obviously I think Jackson State at Alabama State. I mean, I think you want to circle November 14th. That's going to be it could come down to that weekend, but then let's see what happens that weekend. It could come down to Jackson State and Alcorn, November 21. I mean, Jackson State and Alcorn last year. I mean, that was as exciting a game as any Jackson State played last season. Rivalry down there on the reservation in Lorman, packed house again. You know, that one, that November 21 could be kind of special as well. So that one has a lot of intrigue for me. I'm gonna go back to October 17th and Florida A&M Jackson State. That's Jackson State's homecoming.
I was wondering that.
Yeah,
because that was right there during homecoming season.
Yeah,
and I was wondering, and obviously, you know, everybody say, why the hell would you play Florida A&M for homecoming? But obviously, the schedule kind of dictates when you play homecoming. But that's an interesting matchup for homecoming. But hell, you play Alabama State for homecoming, and that game has been a big game also. So, will y'all have any seats? Because we know FAMU travels. Will there be any seats available for the orange and green? That's the question.
Plenty. Oh, okay. Yeah, they might. Okay, okay. So let me ask this question. Quinn Gray, first year. What will be the mentality for Florida A&M coming into the season, especially not having a SWAC championship to play for or anything of that nature? Will they relish the role of being a spoiler coming into the season, or what might be the case?
Of course, they're going to relish the role, and this is sad to say what's getting ready to come out my mouth. This is not the first time FAMU has been in this situation where they can win the conference on paper and not win the conference. As if you remember the last year, the MEAC. They were on probation, self-proclaimed probation, had the best record in the MEAC, but could not represent the MEAC in the Celebration Bowl at that point in time. So he's going to relish that role. Quinn Gray has been in these big games both as a player and as a coach. We talk about a coach who played in the Fountain City Classic every year and did not lose a Fountain City Classic as a head coach. And we could talk about some of these rivals, Magic City and everything else. That rivalry between those two schools is on that same level, if you've ever been to it. Not only that, but you talk about a coach who just went through a playoff run, got to the regional finals without his quarterback. So this is light compared to what he just came through. So if anybody will figure this out, I think Coach Gray will figure this out.
I like that. Let's break this down a little bit. Alabama State is showcased 4 times on the ESPN networks during this 2020 season. And then you have Alabama A&M on here twice. You have Prairie View on here 3 times. FAMU on here 3 times. Jackson State on here 4 times. Southern on here twice. It's fascinating when you talk about that. And then when you start to look at that, when you talk about the HBCU Go, you have FAMU 4 times on the HBCU Go, 3 times on here. That's 7 times between HBCU SWAC and in ESPN, excuse me. And we haven't even seen SWAC TV, which will probably pretty much showcase the rest of the games. That's big time when you think about the SWAC TV, comparing that. Any thoughts in terms of just the showcase when you start looking at the number of teams and how much they're getting out there? When you look at Jackson State, they're on HBCU Go twice and then on here 4, so that's 6 times when you get those type of matchups there. So that's pretty big. When you start looking at that, intriguing about that, you have Prairie View on HBCU Go once, 4 times on here. So a lot of television in terms of what they're able to bring on. Any thoughts when you start comparing HBCU Go, ESPN, and just the number of teams that will have that light shine when you start looking at FAMU, Jackson State, Prairie View with the number of games they have broadcast? Starting with you, Charles.
I mean, all very branded universities, and I'm sure all these teams have a lot of intrigue. That a lot of fans are going to sit up and want to watch what they're doing from week to week. When you're talking about defending SWAC champions, Prairie View, can Jackson State, can they get back in the hunt? Florida A&M always brings quite a few eyeballs. So I think you got some teams that are featured on here that carry a lot of intrigue. I think the one Southern carries a lot of intrigue for me when you take a look at them trying to get back in the hunt under Marshall Falk. So they're going to be a team that I think has some intrigue. I go back to that Southern Jackson State game. I think Jackson State's won 8 in a row now, and law of averages says the things have to turn around at some point, and it scares the hell out of me. They're coming to Jackson. I remember the 28 game win streak when Southern stopped it back in the 1989. So that is a forever part of my childhood. So,
how did you feel, Charles, as a child when it happened?
It crushed me. You're growing up in Jackson. Let me set the scene. You're growing up in Jackson in the 80s, and you're so used to Jackson State winning and spending that time in the vet. So Saturday in the vet was, meet your girlfriend and hang out and watch Jackson State football. So it was that period of time, and I just remember being crushed that Saturday night like I couldn't believe it. And of all teams, it had to be Southern.
Jackson is special to me. And I heard recently, I heard somebody talking about Jackson, in terms of just the flavor of Jackson. I'll put it that way in terms of how they discuss Jackson, the city. But so between Jackson State and Jackson, it's high on my list. High on my list in terms of how they treat you when you get in that town, particularly if you're talking about supporting HBCUs and more so Jackson State and the SWAC. It takes it up a different level about the fandom and how folks are celebratory about that, which is huge. Eddie Drew, same question to you in regards to ESPN, ABC, HBCU Go, and those teams. We've heard the tough news from FAMU, but they have 7 games being showcased. I think that says a lot about their brand. We see that with Jackson State in terms of what they bring in. Last year's champion, Prairie View is in the mix. Alabama State, that's right there, great season. And then you have it spread out with a lot of other teams as well. What are your thoughts when you start thinking about where the SWAC HBCUs have come in terms of how they're going to be broadcast, these particularly over linear TV for the 2026 season?
I mean, if you any type of executive who knows anything about HBCU football, SWAC football, I mean, these are the obvious choices to start with. And I also wonder, were the football teams chosen, or were the bands chosen? Because you're talking about the Marching 100, the Human Jukebox, the Marching Storm. And you're talking some great bands that's going to be at these games also. So I'm wondering, were these games chosen specifically because we expect these football teams to do good, and we expect those football teams to draw some eyeballs, or the fact that we know that the Sonic Boom of the South, or the Human Jukebox, or the Marching 100, or the Marching Storm are going to bring eyes to the sets also.
That just made me think about it. I mean, could that be an announcement with Band of the Year? Is the Sonic Boom getting back in the fray?
I think they can. It'd be interesting to see. Have they decided that they want to get back into action? They certainly have the band to do it. But I think that's going to be the question of the year coming into it.
Yeah.
Are they ready to put the hat back? Literally, they're marching hat back into the thing of things to enter in the conversation. I could just see them doing a show talking about we're back. I'm spelling it back on the field or something like that. We back.
And let the fingers roll when they play 30 seconds of somebody's band at halftime, and let the fingers roll talk about why we not playing the bands.
Exactly. And I don't want to impress. Let me do that correctly, because they're gonna think I'm messing with them when I say we back. We're back. We are back. For those that like to give my folks there in Jackson State a hard time, I was not doing that. So I don't want any problem. They can spell all that they want to. With that being said, great show to close out the week. Closed out baseball season. We talked about a fabulous athletic year. It's hard to believe it's coming to a close, and we got to sit back for maybe about a month before we can at least get a great tease. And we'll have some our own news coming out there in terms of how we will continue to celebrate and do that. Before we do that, Drew,
make sure you go to Black College Nines this weekend. I will be live on location in Tuscaloosa,
awesome.
reporting from the regional there. So make sure you go to Black College Nines and catch my recap of the games, at least 2 games that we're going to be playing in Tuscaloosa. But before you catch the recap, you got to read the preview to understand about what I'm going to write in the recap. So go to Black College Nines tonight and do your homework. I need you to sign some homework, Dr. Cavil.
No, I like that. I want our folks to be fully knowledgeable when they get in these dialogues and conversations. So the first way to do that, use your cheat code. This is, some of y'all in high school. I know y'all had help when y'all had to read those books that were assigned in your English class.
Get your girlfriend to read it for you.
Notes. This is an easy way to get your Cliff Notes. Go to Black College Nines, read A.D. Drew's article, and you have your free Cliff Notes. We're not even charging. We don't charge you a book like they do, sir. So you can do that. Let me go to Charles and let Charles get his final thoughts out here and see what he has to show before we close it down.
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, let me shout out my guy, Deputy Mario. There is no getting into Johnny T without Deputy Mario's blessing. So shout out to my guy. Hey, Doc, he's ready to podcast. He's boning up on watching film and stuff. So he's ready to jump in the game.
Oh, every time I come up there, he's ready. He breaks me down. He said, man, I got this question.
Yes, indeed.
He break it down, and then I have a good evening because he got my mind excited and right. And I go into Johnny T's, and it's not a problem in the world.
Yeah, yes, indeed. It's been a tremendous season. When you take a tremendous year, take a look at all those sporting events that we've covered and all the things that we've talked about week in, week out, and it's been fun. And here we go. We start the process all over again when it kicks off SWAC Media Day. So, 25-26 has been a tremendous year, full of ups and downs within the HBCU sports world. But kudos to all the champions, all the near misses, all of the stories that we've had the pleasure to cover during the course of this academic year.
Well said, and we'll close it right there. Thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Kenyatta, Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, coming from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, and A.D. Drew. And again, we're not going to give our producer G Boom too much breakdown. He switching it up. He has a new laptop, so we letting him do his thing. Wi-Fi is that, but he made it work. He got us through it, so we produce and are proud in terms of our producer.
And I tease because I care, G Boom. I tease because I care.
Yeah, he already said he get used to it.
I don't need you quitting and putting the keyboard back in my hand.
No doubt. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Ville's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time right here. We look forward to next week as we discuss the latest news in the lab. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil. That's DrKenyattaCavil. That's Threads, Facebook, Instagram. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Facebook. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on YouTube. Dream big. Continue to move forward. Want to shout out again, Deuce and Miles for the covers they did. Got a chance to show that at work today, and I'm still getting accolades, boy. Make me look good as the dad of the year. We will talk with you soon. Charles.
Of course.
80.
Lecture.
Dismiss.